Welcome to episode 3 of Coco vs. DWC. We're 6 weeks into my second DWC grow, and let me get this straight. Y'all want me to take responsibility for my mistakes? Fine. In today's video, I'll break it all down, but we're not going to dwell on it too long. Some unexpected developments are forcing me to flip the flower earlier than planned, so grab a snack, roll one up, and lock in. So if you've noticed, I haven't really been talking much about DWC. Well, because this is only my second run. I'm not out here acting like an expert. I can't tell you what's best for your plants, but I can tell you what's working for mine. Let's start from the beginning. Washing Hydroton. It's basic, but you need to do it right. Use peroxide or bleach to kill bacteria and viruses that spread between plants. If you don't have soft tap water, don't even think about using water from a garden hose. DWC needs clean water. Now I have a water distiller, so I can make my own distilled water that comes out at almost 0 ppm. As a beginner, it's really easy to overfill your buckets, but let me save you some time. You're not trying to baptize your plants. I learned the hard way, and now I keep my buckets about halfway full. I only use 2.5 to 3 gallons of distilled water per bucket. That also leaves about 7 inches from the top of the bucket to the water line. Now let's talk about light leaks. When I was transplanting the clones, I left a gap at the top of my container thinking this will give the roots more oxygen and save hydrogen. Nope, dumb idea. Any open space lets light into the reservoir, which can heat up the water, stunt root growth, and create the perfect breeding ground for algae. Next time, I'm just filling the containers all the way up and cranking up the air pump instead. I should have been spraying my plants with plain water only, but instead I used a weak nutrient solution. What I didn't consider was nutrient water plus light equals algae. The regular DWC plants were fine because I took the humidity domes off so the water evaporated, but the Hydroponics plants were a different story. Yeah, they were getting drenched 24/7 under the dome. One thing I did right was follow the feeding schedule. Early on, I worked with ChatGPT to fine-tune a weekly plan. I learned how to dial in EC, ppm, pH, and temperature. Basically, follow the ppm schedule and watch your roots. If they start turning brown, check the water temperature, increase the oxygen, and add HydroGuard or peroxide. Call it the poor man's guide to DWC, but it's been working, and clearly the DWC plants are thriving. Here's the thing about DWC. It ain't rocket science. Once you understand a few key concepts, it's just another grow method. But I ain't gonna lie, it's high maintenance as hell. Running a lot of DWC plants is like a full-time job. And honestly, I'm not even mad that a few didn't make it. Meanwhile, over in Coco, these plants are beastin'. Bright green, fully recovered from topping, and now they're growing 2 tops instead of 1. The DWC plants are also on week 4 veg, but their structure is totally different. They're short, dense, and compact. Classic indica. Day 36. It's week 5 veg. One thing I'm really starting to love about Coco is how evenly these plants are growing. The node spacing, the structure, even the canopy, it's almost perfectly level with great light penetration. The DWC plants are straight up bushes. The smallest DWC plant has now overtaken the smallest cocoa plant. And the biggest ones are massive. I'm talking enormous indica fan leaves, some as big as my hand. Day 40. I think it's safe to say The cocoa plants have recovered and are filling out instead of stretching up. They've officially bounced back. The DWC plants are still going strong. They entered week 6 with virtually no problems. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for the cocoa plants. I first noticed something was wrong when I compared the leaves side by side. The cocoa plants were pale and smaller than they should be. They might have depleted their nutrients faster than expected. So on day 43, I top dressed them with more slow-release organic nutrients. Hopefully, that gives them the boost that they need. And if things couldn't get any worse, I noticed tiny white spots on all the cocoa plants. It didn't look like any deficiency I'd seen before, so I did what any responsible grower would do. I asked ChatGPT. The first thing it said was spider mites. I grabbed a scope, flipped the leaves over, and bingo, tiny little demons all over the place. I wanted an organic solution, so I asked ChatGPT for a fix. It recommended Lost Coast Plant Therapy, a state-approved organic pesticide and fungicide. I sprayed every single plant, top to bottom, and let it soak overnight. Day 44. The next day, I had a decision to make. Leave the leaves on the plant and risk another infestation, or give the plants a much overdue defoliation. It was a tough decision, but I decided to defoliate. I stripped off the big leaves, opened up airflow, and made sure there was nowhere left for mites to hide. Then I topped the DWC plants to even out their canopy. And after topping and lollipopping, things look much cleaner. Since the cocoa plants were ground zero for the infestation, I went even harder on them. But honestly, it was perfect timing to flip to flower. So this was officially the last day of veg. From now on, we'll be in flower. So if you're feeling this series and hype for flower, drop a like and subscribe, because the next episode is coming up right after this.